militant of the SDF.
Just for the record, Rose Fundi actually died on April the 24th, 2005 after she was evacuated to a hospital in Switzerland. Mr. Ebini, Asongani says in the book that before the evacuation of the late John Fundi's wife, he got calls from the presidency of the Republic of this country proposing to bankroll the evacuation and, of course, the hospital treatment in Switzerland. But then the SDF militants are firing back and saying he earns money every month from the government of what he calls La République du Cameroun on a monthly basis because he's a university professor.
That's nonsense. Respectfully, I disagree with these two speakers. I honor him declaring that it's SDF. Right. Many of us Cameroonians pulled together. We wanted change. And we entrusted somebody who came in front with that mantle to move us somewhere. Mm-hmm. The guy has turned out to be a terrible talk, and I mean Fundi. Professor Songani is not somebody who lacks a forum of expressing himself.
He's been writing letters.
I read from him almost every day.
Right?
And Professor Songani does not show his relevance by affiliation to political parties or the SDF. This is a man, while from this country up to London, he was fully engaged. Just engage him in any topic and you see that that is not a person that you can accuse of some of these things. It is up to the SDF to disprove because he had experience. This is a person who rose to the one of the highest level in the party, and we can see the kind of person that Fundi has turned out to be even worse than Paul Biya. It is obvious.
I'm not cutting you short, but let me Ferdinand, before I come to you, let me get over to Dennis. He actually says, well, you said the SDF fabricated Professor Tazwaja Asongani. And he says...
Not Asongani is fabricated. A lot of. And I don't disagree with him that Fundi has failed in terms of leadership. I was not talking about Fundi. I'm talking about a politician who rose to the position of Secretary General of the Social Democratic Front. Mm-hmm. At that time, everybody believed. They used to call me in those days chairman. I'll punish anybody who calls me chairman today. So when I was in secondary school, they called me chairman. Okay. I cannot accept to be chairman. I'm very ashamed of that name that I was given before. But the SDF is a house where, SDF has some other political parties here. There are people who believe in change, who still believe in change, but the leadership has failed. And I was saying that Asongani, along with Fundi, are the people who portrayed that, the other image of what politics should be. That's what I was saying. I'm not saying that Fundi is better. Fundi is even worse than Asongani. But Asongani, being a professor, nobody denies the fact that he's a university professor, somebody, an intellectual. So his failure is more condemned than Fundi's failure. Because I thought, if at all he is criticizing Fundi today, I thought he could be somewhere doing exactly the opposite of what he's, blaming Fundi for, which he has not done.
Let me cue in from there and ask you, Ferdinand, if he was such a seasoned politician, he would not lack a party to militate for and probably be its leader.
A party, a forum, not online. Yeah, you can advise other parties on what to do.
All right.
Well, I've told you around the SDF or with SDF, you know those who can be genuine. You don't find him there even for advice.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question, which I will answer. I think I should answer. He still stays with Romos since 2006, 2005.
Yes.
That I was accused of. There were rumors that I killed Fundi's wife. There are rumors that the CPDM danced with the SDF. He stays at the level of rumors. It's problematic.
Okay.
And why is he publishing this book now? Somehow he wants to win sympathy. I've read through the book.
It's another coincidence because it comes after the May 26 commemoration of 25 years of existence of the CPDM.
He wants to win a lot of sympathy, thinking that he can forge ahead. The SDF gave him and others a chance to come back.
Okay.
He did not. He said he cannot. What is the new forum he wants to take the country forward? Let me tell you. Like one of the Secretary Generals, they wanted to play a more important role. They were thinking that the Constitution unfortunately does not give the SG so much powers. Mr. Ebini, well, the SGF has failed. One of the reasons failed is that, I don't know whether you can prove it, the system which does not accept merit. We have never had free and fair elections. So failure, how do you judge the failure?
And that's how we come out of this issue, Christmas, if you don't mind.
Well, if it says failure, I mean, it's not a matter of the SDF. Frundi has turned out, if Frundi is still chairman 20 years, it's because he's a tribal thug. That's what I'll tell you.
But the SDF, he will claim, has tentacles up to the farm.
When people were being killed in the streets during the period of the house arrest, during the period of the state of emergency, Frundi was negotiating for positions to create a state council thing with the SDF. That is obvious. They gave money for elections.
That's so simple.
They gave money for elections to the SDF, 400 million, and Frundi
that's too cheap.
Took all of the money, most of the money for himself. What I'm saying is that Frundi came up, and all of us, I'm not SDF, but I had Frundi's posters all over in my house. Okay. All of us pulled from all over this country to support this man. For him to still remain the chairman of that party just proved that he had no vision, no patriotic vision for this nation, but was looking for himself.
So if you don't mind, if we stay on this, we're going to stay on this till the end of the show. We still have two major talking points to go, Ferdinand. The government of Cameroon has recruited a French company, it is called Gemalto, to conceive and produce new and more secured identity cards, national identity cards for Cameroonians. Gemalto replaces another French company, it is called Thales, whose failings had become so conspicuous. The state of the national ID card is our next key talking point this weekend. But first of all, here is a lead-on teaser. National identity cards can generally be considered portable documents issued by governments to enable their bearers confirm their citizenship. In Cameroon, ID cards have witnessed considerable evolution since they were first introduced shortly after the country gained autonomy from France in 1961. And accompanying the evolution has been modifications from the original cardboard versions through plasticized variations. From the original cardboard versions through plasticized variations to the small-sized computerized species in use today. However, over time, the value of the document, so vital in corroborating a citizen's nationality, has steadily slumped among Cameroonians. In fact, it is open secret that in bids to boost election victory chances, some CPDM bigwigs, especially in the far north, fabricate the cards for distribution to foreigners metamorphosed into CPDM candidates. Police officers stand accused of auctioning Cameroonian ID cards to Nigerians, Central Africans, and Chadians, among others. From a purely superficial observation, the number of people being bundled up for detention for non-possession of the card is, to say the least, perplexing. Frequently, corpses of accident victims are dumped in hospital mortuaries and then end up in mass graves for want of identification. In fact, the hundreds of thousands of ID cards begging for retrieval from police offices across the country provides further evidence in need of no verdict. And so when Cameroonians have no business with immigration services, the banks, and some public offices, they simply damn the ID card. Now, judging from the crowds of frightened Cameroonians swarming police stations to establish the document, it may be safe to conclude that strategies to ward off Boko Haram attacks are bearing collateral fruits. So, Dennis, is there any reason to believe or to have faith in Gemalto?
I don't need to have faith in Gemalto. I have when I was trying to investigate Thales, I did before. In that process, I happened to talk to the highest officials in the police, and I heard that, I learned that Gemato does not issue ID cards. They don't manage the identity. They are a consultant with their software, the police.
Why would the government be hiding such information from Cameroonians? It's not mentioned in
it's not mentioned, but it takes some courage, or professional guts for a reporter to go there and find. In Cameroon, all of us, we are afraid of the police. Okay. I am not afraid of the police. I want to get the right information as far as this thing is concerned. And most of the things that concern security are not brought to public knowledge anyhow. So, but I reliably learned that Gemato is going to assist, because the Cameroon police is already issuing biometric passports. Okay. And nobody have traveled around the world, and nobody has claimed that our passport has a problem. Okay. So for now, Gemato, it is not normal for a country like Cameroon to
keep on relying on foreign companies.
Is it to sublet our nationality to a foreign body? Company. And I think they have tried, at least this time around, they have tried to correct that mistake.
We're going to talk about that in the next couple of minutes. But Gemato has been touted as one of the world's leading manufacturers of the subscriber identity modules, or what you call the SIM cards. It is coming, like we say, to replace another French outfit. It used to be called Thales. Therefore, are you heaving sighs of relief and saying, alas?
No. I'm disappointed. Let me continue from where he ended. Well, our brother here studied in America or abroad, came here, could not find work. If you go to the diaspora, Cameroon diaspora, you have the best brains you can imagine. Mm-hmm. If you give them that confidence, they'll come here, provide the services we need. All right. Subletting our destiny, birth registrations, our important documents to these foreign companies. Call them just consultants. I'm worried.
Okay. Christmas. Only last week, Nigerian Secret Service agents announced the arrest of 3 Frenchmen, former employees of Thales. They are accused of having produced over 60,000 Cameroonian ID cards, passports, and residence permits to be issued, or rather sold off, to Nigerians who were intending to stay in Cameroon. That piece of information speaks volumes about the failings of the systems we've had in place so far.
Well, I don't know. We keep talking the obvious. What trust do you place in this system? It seems as if you guys talk as if we have seen anything good from this system before. Everything here, the French control this country forever, and that has been the struggle we've had about not having our independence. Now, about the identity, I was reading in the paper that I could really compare that to what the American system now, the religious Christian system that is changing to homosexuality. Okay. When they brought the Bible to us and told us that that was a sin, mm-hmm. Now because it's convenient for them, they are turning around now and say that it's okay and pushing it on other people. On the identity issue, it's something that the system used to bring people from outside to give them advantage, electoral advantage. Mm-hmm. They issued fake identity to people. I hear there's an SDF leader in the north who complained about that and was locked up when they brought people from Chad and Nigeria to come and be issued identity. Yes, they were given identity in order they should for them to vote as CPDM militants. So that is what the thing that they did, the wrong that they tried to play, is coming back to hurt us.
Dennis, and I was going to ask you that very question.
I want to say something about that information from Nigeria. I am not sure, as an investigative reporter, that the Nigerian Secret Service caught those people. I'm not sure because they said they curved the story from the Alpha newspaper. In fact, I know Nigeria more than many other Cameroonians. I don't have any idea about the Alpha newspaper. Okay. I put a question to Abib Piniga, former editor-in-chief of one of the leading daily newspapers in Nigeria. Okay. He said he doesn't know the Alpha. I googled the Alpha. on internet, I saw one Christian paper called the Alpha, which is not known in Nigeria.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, when the government decided to deliver ID cards for free to Cameroonians, there's one minister in this government, one vice prime minister, who collected the ID kits from the police to the far north. That minister is still in, that vice prime minister is still in government. Okay. He is the person who got the free kits, about 100,000 free kits, and it is alleged that if you're looking for any of such ID for the means through which the foreigners got the ID card, it is at that particular period. Okay. So this story, this news, I think somebody somewhere wants to mislead the public. Okay. So, to the best of my knowledge, it is during that period that Chadians and Nigerians got Cameroonian ID cards, and nobody was
electoral purposes.
Yes, right? Yeah, and nobody was angry because it served the present the regime. Mm-hmm. Now that what they were doing in hidden has turned against them, they are talking to us. So we should not go and support a system that is so weak that it destroy itself. Okay. So this is what is happening to me.
Some are saying that, well, the clues are there, and that if the government wanted to arrest the source of the leakages, or rather the auctioning of Cameroonian IDs, they know the person who actually distributed the ID cards in the far north, and they should go get him, and of course they will get all the information they need. But according to the story from Nigeria,
the BBC, the RFI Hausa correspondent in the far north has been under arrest because he is a Nigerian and he has a Cameroonian ID card. He's still under arrest in Douala today.
But D4, according to statistics from officials in Douala, there are over 11,000 ID cards that stayed uncollected since 2011 at various police stations. What can explain Cameroonians' nonchalance for possession of the ID?
Well,
has it become so worthless?
No, even down south, because of the elections, some have double ID cards, so they may not go for the second one. It is also said the collection is not free. Okay. It's not free.
All right. Okay, so let's move out of this, and I'll just be asking you, well, this is just a question like that. So it is thanks to Boko Haram that Cameroonians are rediscovering the essence of the ID card. Would you say that?
Well, it's sad to link that to Boko Haram, because I think it's just normal for you to move, whether just for your own personal security and for identification. You could go out there and be hit by a car, and your family does not know where you are. Through your identity, they can trace your family. So it is sad that we are linking it to the Boko Haram incident or to security. What the danger for that is that the so-called terrorists are not stupid. The people who would have the most authentic ID if they want to go anywhere and strike would be the terrorists. They will not come here without the identification clear. But now, knowing our system, the struggle for our common masses to go for these documents with all the bottlenecks becomes now a source for abuse, for extortions, and all that. So that is where the problem would lie now, on the rush for people to get ID cards.
Thanks so very much. So after stretching its disobedience of a month-long suspension slammed by the National Communication Council, the Cameroon-based Pan-African television broadcaster Afrique Media finally had its Douala head office, and of course that in Yaoundé shut down during the course of this week and the other week. The measure followed the sealing of its Yaoundé tentacles, like I said. But curiously, Afrique Media, which announced its relocation to Malabo in next-door Equatorial Guinea, has continued broadcasting. Afrique Media appears unstoppable, Dennis. Can you stop them?
They are unstoppable, and I strongly support Afrique Media. I have never thought, even for 1 second, that there's anything this government can do to protect the citizens. The government has never done anything to protect the citizens. So it is very suspicious that Mr. Esoka Peter, who went on retirement,
who's the vice president of the National,
he went on retirement and got himself the job that gives him the highest salary he has ever seen in his life.
What's the job?
he has 5 million CFA francs as president, or as vice president and acting president of the National Communication Council. He never earned 1/100th of that when he was working with the CRT.
Dennis, what's the link?
The link is that if you are paid this amount of money in Cameroon, if you are paid higher than the average general manager of a public company, it means that you are there on mission. And he has said that he is on mission. If as a president of the Cameroon Journalists Trade Union, we are saying that you don't go and shut down a media house that is employing 150 Cameroonians.
Because of the flaws of 2 individuals.
Some said, they talked about the code of ethics. The code of ethics of 1927 does not apply to the media. It applies to journalists.
Okay.
It is addressed to journalists, not to the media.
Media organizations.
So a media house cannot violate the code of ethics. A journalist can violate the code of ethics.
Thanks for making that.
And for this matter, they are not accusing any journalist on a free media to have violated one of the 15 chapters of the code of ethics. The government, they are saying that that people on a free media insulted a foreign leader.
Okay.
On a free media,
spreading hate speech and of course xenophobia.
Against who? On CRTV, on RFI. I work for RFI. They have insulted heads of states. They paraded the president of Ivory Coast on TV. They paraded a naked first lady on TV. And nobody has ever shut down France 24 or any other media for these violations.
In fact,
I'm afraid,
right?
This is a government who is talking about, it is a corrupt system that is talking about morality. I'm very afraid of that.
Dennis, thanks very much. We're going to come back to you. Officials at Afrique Media Christmas, they say that the broadcaster is an international outfit, and of course that the National Communication Council lacks the competence to sanction it. Is that an argument that holds water at all?
I would agree with him. I mean, it's just the same thing like you tell a corrupt leader, a corrupt president to investigate and to imprison other people for embezzlement when it is a known fact that he's the chief, the chief in chief of embezzlers.
Okay.
So that is a different, and I would agree with him that you set up, for this government to set up a committee to control communication or journalism or whatever it is. We know that there's something smells, it cannot be free. I've heard that Afrique Media, when you sent me the prop that you're going to talk about it, and I saw that the main thing was because they did make something that was not very palatable to our masters, the French, and that's why they shut them down. Anything about censorship, I would not really condone.
Ferdinand, critics of government policies, including the Vice President of the National Communication Council himself, Peter Esoka, he says the so-called policy of administrative tolerance is what is getting the country and journalism in the current mess.
Yes, but how do you close Afrique Media when you have appealed to the judiciary? The case is in court.
Yes.
You have asked for a stay of execution. If tomorrow they declare them innocent, what happens?
All right.
Like the case with Vision Card.
Okay.
Why not stay to the end of the judicial process?
Okay. I promise you guys we're going to come back next week and do this because we are out of time, way out of time. Thanks sincerely for having kept us company all this while. Stay safe, have a hitch-free weekend, and of course come back. We'll be there on Saturday next week. In the meantime, don't you forget, Newsroom is broadcast live as from this edition on CANAL 2 International and its sister channel, CANAL 2 English. Until next week, bye-bye.